Hi, welcome in. How's your day going? So, today I will be playing this game, Lost Connections, which is about love and loss, something to do with courage. If she leaves now, you will never see her again. Would you have enough courage to take a step, or would you stay quiet and regret it? So I'm telling you while I'm playing this as well because you haven't. Yes, I'm having problems. I'm good. I'm with my friend, so I won't. Oh, if that's okay. Thank you so much for stopping by, though. So yeah, I told you that I will be doing like a monthly theme. So February is kind of romance and heartbreak. That's why I'm playing this game. It's like short, 30 minutes, so it shouldn't be too long. Uh, it's based on a true story. Oh, about self improvement and courage. Okay. And there are six endings that are already like uh, defined, and there's two hidden endings apparently. Yeah, by the way. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Have a good day. Bye. So I guess I'll start the game. A little better. If one last try. If this doesn't work, I'll play some other game. Nope, Twitch Studio. But honestly, all of them are glitched up. That is what I'm doing. It's still not showing up. Like the game is visible on my screen, but on Twitch it's not getting it. Okay, I'll just play some other game then. Lame, I know, right? I was excited for this game, but never mind, I'll figure it out some other time. What the fuck is that? Okay. Um, but it's called. It sounds depressing. I mean, yeah, fair enough. What do I play now then? I could play this game. Where did it go? This one. But I won't be playing it long because I have to be somewhere, so maybe like an hour at max. This is about a vampire and a bard who is exiled to an abandoned castle. Right, Fear Nightmare mode. You know what? I may just do that sometime this year. I'll be playing Cry of Fear in May to do other endings. Or maybe then. Uh, how long is this game? 2 hours. Oh, 7 hours, 1 hour. Amazing. Start. Prelude to Dawn. Okay. My wrist itch. My stomach is churning and empty. My legs are sore. A swab of hemp fabric, strong contrast. What is my cheeks and tied in a knot behind my head is chafing against the corners of my mouth. There's bitterness on my tongue. I idly wonder if it's that taste of regret. My two armored escorts ride ahead of me, exchanging hushed words. I make a short, unhappy noise to contribute to the conversation, okay? They ignore me, of course. But are you sure, sir? Really, are you? Shouldn't we stop and make camp before sundown? The younger guardsman is jittery and demanding, with a stooped posture that reminds me of a rat. His round face is marred by pockmarks and worry lines, okay? Cannot imagine that, but okay. No need, we're making the time. The other guard, as old and large as a cavern wall, has a deep, rusty voice, well suited to his frame. I once saw him struggle to fit through a door. Okay. Why are we doing such long descriptions? The pockmarked guard glances toward the horizon line, gritting his teeth. Okay. But sir, enough. We will be rid of her today, okay? Okay? Be rid of me? Like being rid of some piss-stained rug? How rude. What did I ever do to warrant such objectification? Feeling vexed, I continue to groan and yawl against the hemp between my teeth. What's a hemp? It's inarticulate and far from the most graceful sound I've ever made, but I make it sound increasingly urgent, okay? Noise. More noise. One of them pulls the reins on his horse, dismounting with a dull, armored clatter like a rattling dish cabinet. It's the younger one. Good. He approaches me, muttering swears as he reaches back to yank the gag from my head. Do we know what's happening? Because I'm not sure what's happening. What convict? What is it now? Most people buy me a drink before they... What kind of... And I kind of, yeah. I guess. Except you get to make choices. You're all ingrates, you hear me, low-browed, barbaric boneheads, the whole lot of you. Hello, NG. It is February now. How are you doing? Well, on account of that, I'll go with that. Most people buy me a drink before they bring out the gag. Stop it. He hisses the words low under his breath through his ears. Blow a traitorous shade of tomato red. Okay. It wasn't funny the first time, and it won't be funny the next time. There won't even be a next time at the rate we're going. We'll see about that. I can say it again pretty fast, I think. I'm doing good. How's life? Life is interesting currently. I will start my training from tomorrow for a volunteering program. So, interesting, definitely. God, so you really haven't learned your lesson. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? He almost sounds amazed. If my hands were untied, I'd twirl my wrist and do a see what. Okay. Volunteer program, yeah. It's for suicide prevention youth. It's chat based, so I will be getting training for supporting people who come to talk through the chat about whatever mental health related stuff. He almost sounds amazed. If my hands were oh, okay, I already did that. So instead, I slide up to him, reaching out to brush my knuckles near. I chose the wrong choice, right? Surely. What's wrong? I wager you know exactly what's wrong. I'm clueless. Yeah, training to become a superhero, technically. Hopefully I don't become a villain there. I was under the impression we had moved past ritualistic sacrifice as a civilization, you see. I thought we were better than all of this. Oh, interesting. Yet here you knuckleheads are, dragging me through the woods to feed me to a god-forsaken vampire. I stomp on a branch when I get close enough. The ensuing crack obscures the sound as I unsee the dagger from his belt. I palm it under my sleeve in a quick motion, hoping my ruse goes unnoticed. Hopefully. How about you, Angie? How's life? How's the vacation going? The guard stumbles away from me. He draws a sword to keep me at bay, snarling. Feisty. You keep away, you heretic. Don't come near me. I raise my bound wrist in front of my chest, widening my eyes to look appropriately frightened. The weather is killing me. Rain, rain. Oh, that bad. And I still have his dagger. By the time he clambers back onto his horse, his older companion extends his arm and smacks the back of the young guardsman's head. I cannot speak today. Why am I doing stories? Idiot. Now we have to listen to her belly aching for the rest of the journey. Like, but hey, you know what they say? The only way to see. Oh, yeah. That's very true. I like that. Very true. Gotta suffer to see the beauty. Do we? I don't know. The younger guard rubs his head, sounding defensive. He's caused nothing but trouble. Why not slit her throat and be done with it? Let the wildlife take care of the remains. Oh? The old guard hits him again. I'd find humor in his slapstick routine if they weren't discussing my imminent demise. Oh, I don't even know my name. What's my name in this? Oh, yeah, I forgot you were gonna ask that every stream. No, I haven't been on an Urbix adventure yet, unfortunately. I'm sorry. I think I won't be for the next 2 months because of the training and all. Gosh, boy, we carry Her Majesty's orders to the letter. You and I, no shortcuts. It's fine. You know the severity of our laws. Underhanded practice will cost you your damn hands. Okay, interesting. The pockmarked guard hunches further at the shoulders. His eyes dart around like he wants to argue, but I cannot do big words. Begrudgingly clamps his mouth shut. There we go. I, on the other hand, have a dodged headshot for making my observations known and am blessed with quick retorts. Oh? Have you been on any Urbix adventures, Angie, lately? Hey, who's that pretty lady on the left corner? I don't know. I am intrigued too. I wanna know. Well, it's a prisoner who is being sent to an old castle where resides a vampire, bloodthirsty vampire, so to say. Or it just costs the fingers if you're lucky, huh? I noticed our wise old man here's missing a digit or two. Wow. I love her. I raise my restrained palms, wiggling my fingers. They glower balefully at me. I've seen actual battlefields, harlot. Do not liken me to a crooked or brawling elf. What does that mean? A prisoner? How exciting, right? Criminals. Convict, heretic, and now harlot? Wonderful. What's that noise? I roll my eyes and wrinkle my nose at him. I'll bet anything that the old man is lying. Bolivia hasn't waged any wars in the past half century. Huh. Interesting. Furthermore, he boasted to my jailers that he's been assigned to this post for the brunt of his service to the crown. But I know better than to push my luck with him. He's more prone to violence than the other guardsmen. Oh, that's good. I used to lag behind at the start of our journey, defiant and stubborn. The old one never hesitated to yank the rope around my wrist, lurching me right into the brambles and sharp stones. So it is bad. Defying him, I learned meant having scrapped palms and knees at best. I like how this game has no voiceover, so we can listen to your voice. Okay. I sometimes try to do the voice randomly, so there's that too. Hope you enjoy. Um, our pace, oh my god, our pace carefully slows when we cross over a mossy log and a series of thick, tangled roots. For the horse's sake, of course, rather than mine. Of course, why would they spare you, right? I work my jaw in silence for a while, keeping a measured distance behind them. What are you doing with your jaw? My grip on the dagger is unlike wildy and clumsy. Aiming it toward my bounce is trickier than I imagined. Surely, I flinch as the pointed tip jabs against my inner arm, but shoot the guards a winning smile when they turn to look at me. Ooh, you freed yourself? So, you didn't? Okay. So, good old cursed forest, eh? Did you volunteer to escort prisoners through the blighted brush, or was it an inherited post? Father's father and such. The pockmarked guard coughs and mimics my words under his breath. Really? Piece of shit. Nothing to fear in these old woods. Alas, not if you're properly armed. Nothing but bears and wolves. People steer clear because they fear what lies in wait beyond. Surely you know that much. I don't think she has to worry. Mm-hmm. The men don't deign to tell me how they were assigned to their roles. None of my business, I suppose. An overhead canopy of leaves parts, allowing patches of sunlight to heat my scalp and cheek. The journey has been long and exhausting, but not altogether difficult. I'd even consider it idyllic from its perpetual backdrop of birdsong and distantly running water. Any sense of leisure sinks and coils at the pit of my stomach as I realize the birds have gone silent, and the sound of water has risen to a dull roar. Is that always a bad sign? Before us is a murky disk of water, blemished green with algae, miles long, miles wide, and harrowingly uncertain depth. This reminds me of Lake of Voices, a jagged, ostent- what? Ostentatious estate? What? I'm bad at this. How am I bad at a storybook? Protruding from the ground like a sword through someone's back looms across the water's expanse. Not the first decrepit castle I've seen in my travels, but perhaps it may be my last. We don't know that. Who wrote this game? Jane Austen? I know, right? I, I will check who wrote it later. That's where I'll be staying then. Home sweet home. Shit, I've barely worn through a quarter of my restraints. Oh god, that's bad. Even if I make a break for it now, they'd run me down on the horseback. Me, a simple man. Me not, I know. I tried it before, back when they marched me through the greater plains. They nearly trampled me into paste. Quiet down, you sorry lass. You may wish to take this time to consider your last words. That's not a bad idea. I could hit you with a real zinger before I go. I see, lover. The old guard groans, mumbling a bitter prayer. I barely have time to hide the dagger before he dismounts and shoves me with more force than necessary. He holds me unceremoniously into a ramshackle little boat, leaving the pockmarked guard to deal with me while he tends to the horses. My breath catches when the remaining guard takes the seat opposite to me. His gawky movements nearly makes the boat capsize before we're even left. Wow, what a bad guard. The boat cuts through Olga. Like I can. I. How is that pronounced? Is it like a knife? I'll just call it moss. Over on dry land, the old guardsman takes a heavy seat in the grass as he watches the sun descend. It's a more serene view than he deserves, truly. I take a deep breath and open my mouth to shout. It's about vampires? Yes. This is a human. The vampire part is coming soon. You're listening? That's scary. Um, I actually accidentally started a wrong game and that department then. But that's okay. Overgrown prune? Yeah. Okay, I'll go with that. The young guard bites back a chuckle and clears his throat. I suppose he's freer to find revelry now that we're safe. We're a safe distance away. He swears like, yeah. As I barely crane my neck around, I observe how the water completely surrounds the state. That makes this a moat, but there curiously isn't a drawbridge inside. At its northeast and westward edges, the moat connects to a river. Following one side will likely to lead one straight to the Rubifian Ocean. Am I into vampires? That's a weird question to ask. Who's into vampires? You like getting your blood sucked, NG? At its north. Okay, I did that. It's quite lovely, really, to be surrounded by such a wealth of natural water. Shame I never learned how to swim. Same, girl, same. Maybe? Ooh. Uh, I don't suppose can I persuade you to ferry me over yonder all the way around the estate on the other side of the shore? Sorry about the trains. It's not cry of fear, I know, but I live next to a train station, so the guard elects not to reply. He won't even look at me now. Aside from the oars carving through the water, the remaining boat ride is hushed and nerve-wracking. Peter, how long do we have? Depends on the vampire, if you know what. Yeah, I know. I know. Okay. Yeah, I do like vampire movies, I guess. I watched the Vampire Diaries, the originals, and the Legacy, if you know of them. I sit up straight and stock still, trying to keep my weight centered despite the stinging insects nipping at my neck and ankles. Ugh. The sun turns red as it dips closer to the horizon. Twilight, I don't know. Oh, I watched one Twilight movie. I thought it was really cringy because I had already watched The Vampire Diaries and it was very different. I couldn't process that vampires glimmer in sunlight and not burn, so I couldn't watch it. The sun turns red as it dips closer to the horizon. It takes half an hour to reach the other side, if not longer. Beyond the lip of the water is a carved ledge with a pit of trenches surrounding the estate's perimeter. I see, so yeah, no, unfortunately he's not. I love Klaus Michelson. Says a lot about my taste. The guard wastes no time, forcing me upright and pushing me off the side. I fall into a roll barely cushioned by the impact of grassy mud. I aim myself back up with effort, ready to yell, the insult boiling at the tip of my. This is so professionally written. To my surprise, the young guard is still up there, lingering at the edge. Miss me already? Hesitating doesn't miss you. Make you. Well, I guess I'll go with that. I googled him. Yeah. I quirk my head to the side and bat my eyelashes at him. His response is slow and deliberate. I won't even remember you by tomorrow. Why? That's weird. I hardly know you, convict, and you don't. Okay, fair enough. Who needs my name? Who needs names? We are two ships passing in the night, you and I. But it's not too late to change that. We can still run off into the sunset together. Come on, help me up. Robert is hotter 10 points to like, uh, personality wise, Klaus is better. Looks wise, I agree. I, I, I guess. But it's not too late to change. Okay, we've done that. TJ, please, like, volume down. I feel weird. Silver tongue always make fun of it. Okay. I got an achievement. With the sun setting behind the guardsman, his features are cast in unreadable shadow. Why? Why the mystery with the guards? His fingers twitch and tap at his side. He casts an uneasy glance over his shoulder before finally he grumbles and rummages through his coat. From it, he pulls out the neck of a familiar instrument and throws it onto the ground with me. Oh. I cry out as my lute lands in the mud. What's that? Nearly falling onto my own shoulder as I reach and fail to catch it. You owe me in your next life, convict. I hope this accursed thing provides you some comfort in your final movements. Accursed thing? I glare up at him. Ugh. Old guy made you nervous, didn't he? All that talk about cutting off hands for being underhanded. Oh no, Lute. Shut up. I knew you were acting jumpy for a reason. I just knew it. You were gonna pawn off my poor little beauty here, but now you don't want to risk getting caught with it. Oh, harlot. He spits at me before he hurries away. What did I want to know what she did though. Like, I listened for the sound of the boat sloshing into the water and then the creak of rowers shortly thereafter. But I don't think we'll get to know that because this is about aftermath, I guess. No, why is it that when people don't know how else to argue with the women, they must remark on how. Oh, well, He's what is old? Okay. With effort, I dislodged the dagger from the inside of my sleeve. I pressed too fast. It's still on wildly, but cutting myself loose is a little easier when I don't need to hide the blade from my captors, fair enough. I pick up my loot carefully, wiping off the dirt and grime before I check and adjust its strings. I holster it across my back where it belongs. It's thankfully intact, but I'm not sure I can say the same about myself. You're not intact? I know I need to. Um, I know I need to come up with a plan to explore and get familiar with my surroundings. Seek out a hiding spot while there's still daylight. But my entire body is aching. I won't get far if I push myself to move now. What's wrong with me? I check the inside of my clothes for the last of my possessions, kept safe and hidden under the lining. I've never been more grateful to have learned invisible stitching. Invisible stitching, okay. A handful of coins and my songwriting journal are all I have left. Songwriting? That's cool. She's cool! I had hidden a number of small blades on my person, but I was too reckless in my previous escape attempts. I kept getting caught, and they confiscated all my knives. Ugh. Let's gamble? At least you have some. Oh, yeah. This guardsman's dagger isn't too shabby, at least. I tuck the blade into my belt, carefully not to poke myself. I'll be ready to use it when it's dark. The ledge I fell from cast a long shadow. I edge away from it into the remaining light, and I concentrate on taking deep, rejuvenating breaths. This creature of the night, I've heard, it can change its very shape. What? It's a vampire! If it pursues me in the form of some animal, I doubt I can outrun it for long. Yep. Yes, that is exactly what's happening. It's wisest to save my strength so I can battle whatever form it takes. After all, I'm determined not to go down easily. Ah, good that you have a loot. Really? Oh, chapter 2? Wait, how many chapters then? Dusk falls. There's barely a silver of apricot orange glowing across the horizon, which means my shelter of light dims and shrinks by the minute. You can enchant the whip. Oh, oh, I see. I get it now. I shiver as the evening cold burrows under my clothes, and I sense the vampire just moments before I hear it speak. So if you want spoilers, this is an enemies to lovers apparently. So
Well,
oh,
well, another gift from the crown.
crown. The creature's airy, serpentine voice moves around me as it prowls beyond the perimeter of remaining light. It's watching me, circling me like a vulture. Or smack his. Yeah, that would be fun. We'll see what happens.
What grievous crimes you must have committed to be
That was
sent all the way
unexpected.
here.
Yeah, I want to know too, actually. Vampire. Voice from the shade. I draw my dagger, pointing it at the source.
Assessing your dinner, beast? Your mother should have taught you not to play with your food.
Well, this is interesting. The voice lapses into a contemplative hum. Yeah, I know, right? Everybody talks now. I don't know what's happening. Why did I have to speak then? My heart hammers against my ribs as I lose track of the vampire in the silence. The vampire snatches me by the wrist. The skin on its dark, clawed hand bubbles under the waning sunlight before it wrenches me into the shadow. I mean, I could have saved my throat some brightness, I guess. I don't know what I'm talking about. My dagger clatters. Like, oh shit.
You're talkative. I usually like it when they're talkative. But yours is an insolent nature. No doubt you've ended up here by disrespecting some local authority.
Oh, that's it? That's the only crime? The vampire hoists my arm above our head, positioning us face to face as he regards me. I scrutinize him in turn. He bears similarities to a human man, but I steal a glance upward, observing his already healed hand with dismay.
You smell of chain rust, fresh soil, dried blood, and incense.
Incense?
Yeah, I'm a big hit with nuns and orphans.
The voice does not match the character. What am I doing? This isn't the time for banter. I struggle. He steps forward and we remain blanketed under the gloom of darkness. There is a small clatter underfoot as he drives his boot under my dagger. Might be, yeah, who knows, for sure. Picks it upright and then snatches the blade out of the ear in a flute. Okay. He twirls the dagger between his long fingers, praising it.
Most unusual. Few of my guests manage to smuggle a means to escape their bonds.
Oh,
If I had to wager, you must be a talented cut purse, which wouldn't be the worst offense, all things considered.
I hope you've gotten some. I have, Jenny. Thank you so much for asking. How about you? How's your stream going? I saw you were live too. Thank you for stopping by. AI vampire. Oh, yeah. If I had to wait, he said that, right?
Stop handling me!
That's loud. Um, I'm playing a wrong game. With my free open palm, I smack him hard across the face and yank my captive hand free. Yes, yes, I had a good sleep last night. Okay, good, good. He flinches at the blow, looking more astonished than anything. I don't stay long enough to watch how he reacts. No sound the whole game, then that. I know, right? I'm sorry about that. run. My lungs are heavy in my chest, and my body is screaming at me to catch my breath, but I can't stop now. There's nothing I can use in the courtyard. My only choice is to head into the state and hope to find a means to escape. There's got to be a ladder or something I can use to scale that damned ledge. I'm just taking a quick game break. Noticed you were on, so... Aw, that's so sweet of you. Thank you so much. Hi, Jenny. Thank you so much. Then I just need to find something, whatever, like wood panel or a door, something. I run down dizzying identical hallways, down several cavernous rooms, displacing dining chairs and overturning saloon and tables in my feet. Your butt never disappoints. And you're fighting with an AI? All the while, the vampire follows me with an even stride. He rubs his cheek with narrowed eyes. Okay, what?
Will you slow down?
Yeah, I started it.
This is
True.
terribly
Just
tedious.
ignore it. It's not worth it. AI is stupid. Will you slow down? This is terribly okay, he said it. Why am I saying it? He hasn't changed his shape, but I know how quickly he can pounce if I let him near. I can't let him get close. Going to kick some Fortnite with my... Oh, have fun. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I saw Terminator. I know what's going on. You saw Terminator? Okay. Very cool. I'm good. Sweet. I know. Thank you. The vampire makes a small offended noise amid the sound of crashing glass. Before he can react further, I seize a standing vase and hold it afloat, ready to throw.
Stop it. Calm down.
She cannot calm down. I pivot my grasp on the lip of the vase, bending my arms menacingly. Water and blabbers slosh onto the floor.
You dare to tell me to calm down? Really?
This has to be AI. There's an audibly muffled sigh when the vampire steeples his hands in front of his nose. I'm sorry if the audio is too low. Let me know. I'll lower it. Yeah. Oh my god, earbud. What's going on? Yeah, he probably did write
I
this game.
despise the chase. Look at this
I'm a
blasted
ghost.
mess.
I hope you enjoy the ghostly realm, Jenny. I despise the
Do you realize no one else lives here? After you're gone, who do you think has to clean up the remains of your rampage?
Who?
I'm sorry. Are you criticizing the way I'm fighting for my life?
You must understand, mortal. Despite what the good people of Illuvia will have you believe, I have no bestial compulsion to take your life.
Oh, I'm
All
banning
right.
this. Oh.
submit to a
Spare
sorely
it,
tempting
Angie.
me
It's
the
ignore
prospect
it.
of your demise. There is a civilized alternative worth considering.
It's nice otherwise. Just say hi to it. It'll be nice. A civilized alternative to becoming a withered, bloodless corpse decorating his hallway. I keep the weight aloft, halfway between willful rebellion and uncertain curiosity. Only because it's February, I will ignore them. Okay, thank you.
I'm listening.
Wait, what does that mean?
That is all I ask. First of all, this here.
What? He dangles the dagger from between two fingers as if it's a dirty sock he found in my chambers. Hi, TJ.
As a show of good faith, I will return to you this nasty little thing. In exchange, you will not stab me with it.
As if stabbing you is gonna do anything. Just showing you. Yes. I know.
Its blade is neither sharp nor long enough to kill me, but it will deeply annoy me. If I am deeply annoyed, I will be forced to rescind my good faith and tear you to shreds.
I say stab him. Ooh, find some wood and stay quick. I know.
Understood?
No. Not understood. I furrowed my brows, but I'm not. Well, I guess I can't decide for her. If I actually want to incapacitate him, I'd at least need a larger weapon. I've yet to hear any myths where vampires are notoriously weak to stand cavalry daggers.
Good girl. Here.
He tosses the dagger over to me, a splash of holy water in his face. Throw him in garlic sauce. Wow. That's how we do it here? Yes, do that. Find some holy water. He tosses the dagger over to me. It slides along the floor until I stop it with the heel of my boot. Okay. I don't bend to pick it up.
Our next matter at hand is the barter.
Barter?
I've been known to spare and set my prisoners free in exchange for knowledge or for an item of substantial value.
You're a cursed bard. Sorry, loot. Bard.
Fortunately for you, I noticed the loot strapped to your back while you were racing through my abode.
Oh no. I pivot my torso away, trying in vain to hide the instrument from sight.
Come now, don't be selfish. Give it to me and you will have your freedom. Your life will be yours again. Keep away from Illuvia and lay low for several years, and the crown will be none the wiser.
Oh,
I can't.
What?
slow down, Jesus. I cared for it ever since I was a little girl. How can I possibly give it up now? Yeah, exactly.
I can't give it to you. No.
Typical vampire. No, right? Always something with them. I can't.
I nearly lost it once already.
Nothing is stopping you from purchasing a new one once you have your freedom.
Oh, you don't get it, do you?
Certainly you'll have to save up for a while. I recognize the value of an average instrument, let alone how much an artisan lute must cost now after centuries of inflation. However, you will have plenty of chances to...
No.
Why is the loot so valuable? I don't know. But to her, it's her childhood thing, and I guess to him, because it's accursed, I don't know, it would. What?
No. I said I won't give it to you.
Oh, she's crying. It sounds like she is.
Why not?
Why is he angry at me, hypocrite? I raise my voice to match his tone. I can't help it. I get competitive. Good.
You imply me to be insensitive on the grounds of trampling through your home, but what about you? Demanding my only means of providing for myself.
Oh, well, I guess we know why the loot is valuable for her.
Your only means? Nonsense. You're able-bodied, young, far from hideous. Once you have your freedom, I'm quite certain you'll figure something out.
You're
Your
gross.
venerable age must have impaired your hearing then, vampire, because I'm not sure you quite caught it when I repeatedly said no! I am not giving it to you!
Loot is the moneymaker, yep.
Fine. Then you're not leaving.
Fine. He flings his hands skyward, turning and stalking toward the nearest window.
I pray you'll have fun rotting in here for the remainder of your brief and miserable existence, mortal. At which point you and I might have something in common.
Ooh, he got hurt. The vampire got hurt. He erupts into a vicious flurry of black mist. Ugh. Once the smoke clears, I see the flapping outline of a bat soaring out of the window and into the night. The vampire is such a baby. I know, right? I groan between gritted teeth, jostling the stupid vase that I am still holding over my head. Why are you holding it over your head? As tempting as it is to smash it. Oh. I set it down. I begin gathering the displaced flowers with a dejected sigh. Gods, I just got into a screaming match with the vampire and upset him so much that he had to, I don't know, go take an angry nap? I'm still alive. I should really count this as a win, but I don't know. My chest is tight with apprehension. I wasn't supposed to annoy him. He said he'd rip me to shreds if I annoyed him. Well, he didn't, so you're fine. Chill out. Sharpen the end of the lute and use it as a wooden stick. She won't. It's of high value to her. Damn it, gods damn it. What have I done? Why did you not speak that? I should have offered to barter with something else. Like what? The dagger? I doubt he'd be interested in the few coins I have, and I can't bear to part with my music, but he did mention an option to trade knowledge. Oh, even if he's had centuries to experience the world around us, surely there's an obscure nugget of wisdom I can impact. Teach him how to play a lute. Yeah, she could do that. She could do that. One second. I gotta do an important text. okay. After all, I like to think that everyone I meet teaches me something new. I'll have some leverage if I can figure out what he already knows. And then if I can't, then I need to find something else to protect myself. The dagger will be of little use aside from cutting the ropes. Fair enough. And as he practices playing lute, splashes his face with, yeah, I know. Wait, what happened? Never night seems never ending as I creep through this another chapter, I guess. The vampire hasn't shown himself since our earlier squabble, though his absence does little to assuage my nerves. As any prey animal knows, the deadliest predator is one you don't see coming. Oh, exhaustion weighs against my eyes, but adrenaline keeps me on edge, pulsing through my veins like a heavy drum. Vampire cries in the corner, yeah. The slightest shift of wind-blown curtains makes me jump. I keep expecting those moonlit eyes to be watching. Moonlit eyes, girl, girl. But the shadows are always barren, devoid of vampires. Does he truly mean to sulk for the remainder of the night? Perhaps. I suppose I should count my blessings while I can. Yeah. As I explore, technically this also counts as urbexing because it is in an abandoned castle on an remote island. As I explore, I notice how each successive chamber is spotless and immaculately tidy, aside from the furniture I disturbed, which I take the time to straighten. Good. We don't want to annoy. I uncover an abundance of books crowding the shelves and various surfaces. They contain an array of technical topics, including geography, astronomy, invocation, and mathematics. Vampire's a nerd. They're all dog-eared and full of notes. Dog-eared? Oh, okay. I get what you mean. That's a bad vampire. Who reads books like that? Yeah. Don't tell me he's read every book in the state. Maybe he's been around for centuries, right? I can't panic yet. I can still narrow this down. Assuming he takes the time to clean his most frequented spaces, I ought to pay attention to what is and isn't covered in dust. Don't all vampires do they? He sucks blood and loves mad flame. Remove the count from. Yes, I don't know that. Yet even locating a single cobweb presents a unique challenge. Yeah, he's quite clean. I set a book down, running my hand across the marble exterior of an engraved fireplace. Even this is pristine, un, un, unmarred by old ashes and licking flames. It's the most important source of vampire lore. Oh, okay. So, unfortunately, I can only go on for 30 more minutes. I have to be somewhere. So we will have to continue this next Sunday, or I will do a live stream Tuesday to Thursday, depending on my training. Uh, I think I'll keep it to Sunday. Yeah, the nearby fire is iron. At least, what the nearby fire is iron. What the nearby fire iron? At least is an encouraging sight. Really, I pick it up to give it a gentle swing, testing the weight and finds when my arm probes. That's why I'll have to remind myself to use my non-dominant hand. What happened to your hand? See, that's something I can agree with. What? The fire iron has a dull tip that's unlikely to pierce skin, but a decisive strike should send anyone reeling, even an immortal creature of the night. I don't think so. It's of course pissing him off by whacking him in the head is a last resort. I'm more interested in jabbing the fire iron into the ledge outside and using it as a handhold to climb my way up. And what are you gonna do then? Aren't you like surrounded by water? You don't know how to swim too. The idea may sound absurd, but it could work. I won't know until I try. I say Tuesday or Thursday for the next. Um, I will have to look at my training days. Okay. Although, even if I successfully scale the ledge, I still have to defeat the mount somehow. Will you be there? My gaze wanders across the chamber. If someone is wealthy enough to build a castle, they usually enjoy surrounding themselves with larger than life portraits. Hmm. One would think that I'd have found a big enough painting to pry off the wall and write across them. Oh, but the decor is tragically modest. Ugh, what's more important? Both, which is a part of my real life. One would think, okay, I've done that. As I move to lower my arms, a golden glint reflects off the dark metal of the fire iron. I pivot my shoulders with cautious hope. Their thin rays of dawn's light gleam through the curtains. So, if a vampire would want to take your Twitch channel in exchange for freedom, yes, I would say no, never. I would say no, never. My body practically moves on its own. I march to the window and wrench the curtains open. Admirable. Thank you, thank you. Morning daylight fills the chamber. Had never been happier to see the sun peeking over the mountains like an old friend. Doesn't that mean the vampire will be in the castle with you soon, though? Though the moment the curtains shift, a small V-shaped shape moves with it across the floor. A rat? I hate rats. I've always been scared of them. When I hop away from the shape, I observe how it doesn't continue to move. Oh, it's dead? A dead rat? I bend to inspect it, using the fire iron for support. It's just a blurred scrap of parchment, brown and frail with age. Yet it's an unusual sight, considering how free of dirt and clutter the rest of the room is. Interesting. Would you look at that? He's finally missed a spot. I suppose the vampire doesn't enjoy cleaning under the curtains. The least the sun sneak up on him unaware. Oh heavens, everything but a rat. Let's ignore the deadly I know, not even a rat. It's a piece of what was it? Whatever. I turned the paper over, noting the smudge of charcoal rubbing off on my thumb. It's a painting? Part of a larger drawing? Maybe even one of those enormous portraits I'm sorely missing. Perhaps. I'm sure it's worthless, but no harm holding on to it. Perhaps the vampire will appreciate my help tidying up. I doubt that. I try and fail to hold back a yawn that makes my entire body shudder. Plot twist, that's a drawing of you. That would be a great plot twist. The bloom of sunlight fixed in the sky, though refreshing to see, also serves as a reminder of how much time has passed, of how little sleep I've gotten. There won't be a better time to get some rest. I look about the chamber one final time. To be surrounded by various furnishings is a mystifying sort of torture. Okay. Despite how all those nights of sleeping on the ground have left me yearning for the comfort of a cushion, I know I can't sleep here. The moon's pretty. The vampire needs only to close the curtains to accuse me in my sleep. Back outside I go. Okay. Finally, we move on from the rat to the vampire. The days are long this time of the year. I'll have plenty of time to try climbing the ledge when I wake, I guess. I grab a decorative pillow from a sofa. It's not much, but it will make my cobblestone bed a little bit more bearable. If I were a vampire on an island, I would sleep on a beach, no shade all sun. Oh, and the ash one with the sand? Good choice. I retrace my steps through the state and practically collapse into the first ring of sunlight I find. I awake from a dreamless, restless slumber into the cold of evening. Sitting up with a jolt, I scan the sky with mounting dismay. Oh, I pressed the button too fast. Well, I guess I didn't. Sundown again. Already? How could I have slept for so long? The clenching ache in my bones and blossoming bruises on my skin reveal the answer to my unspoken question: what does that mean? My stamina is spent. I won't be able to run the way I did yesterday. No, no, damn it. It feels like the very shadows are reaching for me, streaking across the ground like long claws. Speaking of claws, from the shade nearby, the vampire looks down at me with flat displeasure. My fingers curl instinctively around the fire iron. He's probably upset about the fire iron you took and the pillow. Just till, it's okay. You're still here, on the ground no less. Where else would I be? Wait, they're not doing the waves. Why? I figured you would have climbed onto the roof, run some mental calculus to determine the best angle of approach, and then leapt into the moat to swim to freedom. They don't speak all of a sudden. I know, right? It's so weird. A beat passes as I stare at him. Yes, that would be very practical, but anyone who tries it would surely splatter against the rocky ledge below. Perhaps, and even if they made it to the water, they would discover the alligators in the mud. Oh, mental centuries old vampires say that. Nerdy vampires, yeah. Better at. Alligators? Really? No. What the hell? I think I liked you more when you were menacing me about what crimes I'd committed. She likes the taste of her own medicine. Shocking. She dislikes the taste of her own medicine. Shocking, okay. Yeah. He folds his arms behind his back as he faces around me. I am very aware that he can grab and drag me into the shadows if he so desires, but he's choosing not to. You never did tell me what you did to get sent here. Yeah, what did you do? You're right, I didn't. We stare at each other now, sharing an ugly pause. But I apologize for my behavior last night and for making a mess. Truly? Truly? He looks as though he's expecting a punchline. I mean, with you. Yes, truly, I don't know what it's like to own an estate, but I'm sure it's just dreadful having someone run through it. Indeed. Yes, apologize for fighting for you. She's been gaslighted, brainwashed. She's done for. Will you tell me what you're planning to do with my fire iron? Told you he's upset about that. What, this old thing? I could lie to him, but I see little point in it. While I've developed a skill for enthralling an audience with tall tales, it's not as if I can trick them into believing my stories are real. Unless they're children, of course, and the pacing vampire hasn't seemed terribly childlike thus far. In any case, I'm not a good liar. When one is not a good liar, honesty is by far the better policy. If you leapt at me, I would have tried to swing it at you. But I also thought I could use this as a handhold to get over the ledge. I cannot begrudge you for your caution against me, but using a fire iron as a handhold, really? The ledge is made of solid stone. What? It's old, isn't it? Surely the stone has weathered down over the years. It most certainly has not, because he's been polishing it. You would begrudge me for trying everything at my disposal? I might if you'd ruin my fire iron in the process. You need not try such inventive tactics. You agreed to barter with me. Right, yes, about that. What can we do the voice? What's going on? I prefer that. I'll have you know I'm extremely well traveled. How informed are you about recent history and new discoveries throughout the world? What makes you think I would be interested in such things? Your books, you nerdy. You mentioned you were open to trading knowledge. I remember like it was just yesterday. I prefer you read the story. Change your voice when you read the vampires. Okay. Every 2 years, I receive a new guest at my estate. Each guest has some capacity to tell me news of the outside world. Oh, I have previously offered their freedom in exchange, but hearing news of the outside world loses its appeal when no one. I cannot speak. when one is not welcomed to participate in it. Oh, that's sad. But some men and women have nothing else to give. Surely you would not deprive this opportunity from a future guest when you have more to offer than this. I. My feels heavy against my back. What else can I offer that amounts to the price of my freedom? Please, I can't give it to you. He scoffs at me. Just when I thought you were seeing sense. But I may yet be as amenable as you have been to me. Okay. Last night, I hadn't fully understood that you play music as your primary profession. Not at first. My recent sleeve of guests have been cutthroats and highwaymen. I forget that I've also housed scientists and artists. I presume you must be good at your craft. As such, you need your lute more than I do. Aw, the vampire is no more a child. The sudden and unexpected empathy leaves me speechless, takes my silence as permission to continue. I ought to also admit it has been a very long time since someone has told me no. Oh. It irritated me to hear, but it is within your right to say. Forgive me for making it seem otherwise. Interesting. As if our cordial conversation hasn't been astonishing enough, the vampire inclines his head towards me. You're you're forgiven, but wouldn't everyone have fought you to the bitter end? I imagine there must have been several no's sprinkled in there. Um, are you starting to like that vampire? Come on, what do you mean? Are you starting to like the vampire, Andy? He chuckled. Okay. You told me to do the voice, okay? I don't even know if I'm doing. He's not a. Well, he's acting mature, so he's not like a child, like we said earlier. When properly bound and restrained, one's capacity to fight. Oh, I fucked up. Well, never mind, I wasn't doing it anyway. When properly bound and restrained, one's capacity to fight to the bitter end is quite limited. Okay, fine. Whatever. I expect this lends itself to the what the to making my guests more amenable to negotiation and giving me anything I should. Okay, what time is it? Oh, he really wasn't expecting me to break free of my bounds? Oh, enough of this matter. I propose we approach this from a new angle. What do you want, mortal? If freedom has no strong appeal for you, perhaps you'd be more interested in power and immortality? I just want you to make the right decisions when the. Yeah, I will remember to pick yes when they ask me to splash holy water on his face. I'm not that dumb. I don't miss the what? Never mind. No, I am fairly sure I do want freedom. I can't imagine what price I'd have to pay for the other two. My stomach growls. But I could do with some Food. Food. Even if I get out of here, the nearest village is miles away. I won't get far on an empty stomach. You would ask a vampire to feed you. You asked what she wanted. Don't blame her. A marvelous, modest start to our negotiated relationship. Your empty stomach shall be filled. I should have a surplus of blood. Sir, she is human. The game eventually makes us like the vampire, right? It's a feedback. Yes, it does. It does. I mean, it's an enemies to lovers, so. I'm joking. I'm not so old that I've forgotten what mortals eat. Come with me. Okay. He begins to lead the way. I struggle to my feet, but have enough difficulty steadying myself that he pauses and turns to observe me. I end up using the fire iron to help me maintain my balance, like a metal walking stick. You look pitiful. I know. I'm sure my apologies for not being the picture of grace after a 9-day hike with slave driving guardsmen. So basically, it's a yeah, it is. Now, where exactly do you plan on taking me? The vampire is kind enough to slow his pace and walk with me in parallel tandem, till he stays in the shadows and I in the waning light. You are astoundingly paranoid. I am taking you somewhere I can feed you, like we agreed. You mean to feed on me, don't you? I did say I know after it said I look pitiful. Yes, I did. No, okay. He says it with such disgust that I gaped at him, taken back. Oh, don't even begin to act offended. Have you looked at yourself? What the fuck? Filthy, dragged through prison cells and mud. Your taste most certainly will be foul. Oh my god. I invite back a retort about how I'm supposed to taste. More importantly, you're really not going to kill and eat me ever? At the end, they're gonna have an argument. She will go to the airport, and Vampire be gonna be like, "No, don't fly to Argentina," and they'll hug and kiss and kiss. Yeah, pretty sure. The argument has occurred. It's covered in muck as you are. I have no desire to touch you. Hmm. You doubt me? I don't know. It sounds like you'll attack me the moment I'm clean. Stay unclean then. And I can't get a read on you. Maybe it's your fetish to lure your victims into a false sense of security. How easily you remark on a stranger's fetishes. I had my suspicion that you were a traveler, but I'm certain now you could not have been raised in Illuvia. Ah, yes. Beautiful Illuvia, kingdom of ungrateful prudes. They don't appreciate me here at all. I am quite certain they did not. You may have a seat and wait here, though I can't guarantee the chairs won't bite. What? Very funny. He smirks a little at that, though he turns as if to hide it. The kitchen is nearby, I won't be long. I caught a glimpse of his kitchen during my exploration last night. I noticed it was stocked with well loved pans and utensils, but I never imagined that meant he used them with frequency. I don't think he did. I expect you'll stay put, willfully rounded as you are. If you wander off and I can't find you, I'll have to deposit your meal into the moat. Ah, very well. I will tame my adventurous spirit for the time being. Wouldn't want your imaginary alligators to be fed in my place. The only thing you can cook is a blood sausage. You're catching on. Oh, you know what? Thank God he does not have voice. True to his word, the vampire returns in short order. He sets a tray loaded with roasted roots and grilled perch before me, a simple enough meal, but one of the most beautiful sights I've seen in recent memory. It's not a plate of blood. It is not. Shall I switch it out for you? The vampire has humor. No, no, I'll be quiet. I reach for a fork and slice into the fish, excited to savor my first meal in days. I take the first bite and, oh, it's awful. Well, I would not say that. Some of the prison slop tasted better than this burnt, over-salted tragedy. Even stranger, I taste hints of cinnamon, garlic, and coffee. I'm back. Hi, Jenny. Welcome back. How did it go with Fortnite? At this point, I have no idea what I'm eating, but I'm too hungry to stop. I must have outdone myself. Don't forget to breathe. Mortals need air in their lungs, I hear. You don't need air? Okay. It is delicious, isn't it? And basically, you said, okay. Okay, I did say that. That doesn't mean that I like him. We did okay. No wins though, but we had fun just taking a little. Okay, okay. Fun is what matters, right? It is very delicious. Trust me. my my fork pauses at my against my lips. Um, say the truth, okay? Gods, it's really not. This is the one of the worst cooked fish I've had in my life, but it tastes better than starvation. The vampire regards me with an unreadable expression. His next words are as slow as they are measured. I've served more than 100 guests in my lifetime. Not a single one of them has described, as I quote, better than starvation. Because we're all afraid of being honest. I wish there was an option that's interesting. That's what I hear when I cook. Yeah, there should have been an option. Without constructive criticism, how will you improve? Surely you will not begrudge me for being honest. TJ is still here? The vampire watches me finish my next bite. Eyes narrowed, okay. No matter, I care not what you think of my cooking. His lower lip is unmistakably jutted into a small pout, but I don't get to see it. Aww. Yes, okay. Teach him how to cook. That's the best way to start a friendship. Fair enough. It's better than starvation. Yeah, the vampire cooked her a fish with some coffee and cinnamon in it, and yeah, better than starvation. Now that I have given you a meal, you will now give me something I want in return. What happened to the voice for real? What the fuck? Why do you keep insisting on these inane little traits? He shrugs his shoulders with a touch of derision. Keep going. Oh, yeah, that must be pretty damn good. It is my nature, nothing ventured, nothing gained, no service without a cause. Fine, vampire, can I interest you in a song? He arches a brow and says nothing, but I can tell I've piqued his interest. I've seen your books, all technicality, no whimsy. It must have been some time since you last heard a compelling story. I shift my lute into my arms, strumming it once for intrigue, a tempting little preview. If there will be no voiceover with the song, you gotta sing it. Oh no. I don't. Hi, Anbu. How are you doing? It's been a while. Very well, Bard. A song in exchange for the meal. I lower my gaze to my lute, leaving a sigh I didn't know I was holding. Sing, sing, sing. No, it can't be a song. There's no way. Good, I just have. No. It's a simple request, one I've fulfilled thousands of times and several dozen favorites, but how's it going? It's going good. We're doing a new theme this month, romance and heartbreak, and this is very much romancy, so yeah, it's going great. The thrill of anticipation is making my fingers shudder. Just yesterday, I was grimly certain that I would never perform again. Now I'm performing for the vampire who was supposed to tear me to shreds. Sing it? DJ, not you too. I trace a fingernail over a single string. Then I pluck at each string frequently, testing and tuning in turn. Then I begin to play. Please don't sing. It's a story, right? You said a story. It's a romance month. Let us fall in love with your singing. No. The vampire who until now had a perpetual facility for pacing slows and pauses mid-step to watch me with his hands folded on a writing table. Evie? Oh my god! Hi, Evie! Thank you so much for the raid. How are you doing? How was your stream? Raid? Oh. Hi, Hopeless! Ancient Hope. Hi, Dark Angel. How are you guys doing? Hi, Fawning. Stream was good. Sing for the Raiders? No, shut up. Thank you so much for the raid, Evie. Ancient Hope. Yeah, that's what we call her. I'm elderly. Stream's going good. I'm doing a monthly theme. This is romance and heartbreak, and currently the game is very romancy. Sing? Oh, I, I, if she does have a song, I will. Okay, okay, happy, NG. We love our ancients in the chat. Yes, we do. How's everyone doing? My voice turns into the best weapon I've ever wielded, stronger and sharper than any knife with a fire iron. Can you play the applause? I'm definitely straight. Oh god. The crowd demands a song. You guys. Prison. Notes trickle from my lungs, rush through my throat, and pour from my lips into a song that floods the room with a tale most forlorn. I don't think there is a song, you guys. Encore? I don't think there's a song. The ballad of Choosing starts melancholic. It follows a young man as life takes and takes from him. His father is the first to be taken, life cut short by a plague, his betrothed the next, abandoning him for the wealthier man. Okay, there's literally. We'll find a song? No. If the game about a bard has no song in it, I'm gonna sue the people who made it. Please do so. LOL. When he's brutally mugged and left for dead, he feels as though his last remnants of peace have been torn to shreds. He finds himself alone, left behind, forgotten. His mind is swallowed whole by the rage and grief and self-loathing until one day he decides it's his turn to take. He takes a torch to the stables of his former betrothed. I like that idea. Oh no, TJ. Uh, Dark Angel, thank you so much for the follow. I hope you enjoy your stay here. I cannot talk. He takes a torch to the stables of his former betrothed. Okay, I did that. He takes a noble woman's heart with false oaths and pretty words. He takes the world by storm, molding it like wet sand to fulfill his every desire. When I finish the song, I offer the vampire a small bow. See, it was a story, it was not a song. You guys know her better. What kind of music does she usually listen to? They don't know. Excuse me, Andy? I don't know that song at all. Yo, beautiful. What? Oh, be right back. Okay, and Jenny, thank you so much for stopping by. Take care. I I pay to hear her say, "Oh my god." Oh, they are kind of hot. You should have been here when they actually had voice a while ago. I don't know why they stopped. Throughout my entire performance, his gaze clung to me like a thorn, never once wavering from my body. Okay. What a wretched protagonist. You don't like it? It's one of my most requested Tavern songs. I demand a refund? It's free. Romance game needs podcast. Yup, it does. It's nothing without that. You don't like it? Ah, how baffling to hear that human men find inspiration in an egocentric finale. Of course. That was a song? No, it was a story. It was a story. She was supposed to sing, but she didn't. She did a story. Even the vampire didn't like it. Ouch, Angie. There's a version of this song with a female protagonist. It's not always requested by men. Another unexpected revelation. So even the game character won't sing, apparently. I'm sorry. Maybe she will later on. Although I find the song's message disagreeable, I will concede that you sung it well. That was a song? Story song? Okay. No, don't apologize. Oh, I thank you. We lapse into a brief silence, not quite looking at each other. To my surprise, he's the one who speaks next. Oh, I don't know if you noticed, but this guy, he's a vampire, and she was sent here to be torn to pieces by this man, but he didn't. So, yeah. Has this vampire done anything vampire? I know that's not a. It is very much a word. Kind of. He cooked fish. Yeah, he cooked fish. A bard that doesn't sing, a vampire that doesn't bite necks. Yep, parallel universe. This estate, often forget what it's like to have more than the sound of my own thoughts. Enough cicadas crying in the night. Sounds on character for every vampire I know. Oh, with nothing to interrupt the passage of immortality, the silence can be maddening. How much do you earn at these taverns of yours? How many songs did it take for you to afford an instrument of that quality? How many songs? I've never thought of it that way. It doesn't really work like that. Then how does it work? I looked down at my lute, running my fingers over its surface. It was given to me, which means I never actually had to pay for it, but I don't need to share that with him. Sometimes I compose original songs on commission, which is more time consuming but affords me more gold. As for crowd work, a classic in a well stocked bar on a good night would net me several dozen coppers and a handful of gold. I suppose it amounts to a handful to 100 songs or so if I combine the two. Of course, saving up for an artisan instrument would take even longer. Yes, yes, 100 songs, you say? 100 songs over 100 nights, and I will ensure you have food, hygiene, and eventual safe passage from the state. Wow. Do we like. Okay, I do like this man. The kind of vampire that's lonely, perhaps, doesn't bite a toothless one. Oh, yeah. Hygiene? But if I'm clean, you'll want to suck my. Oh, also the one that doesn't like, um, unclean skin, I guess? Then you can be clean in the day and dirty yourself up in the night if it pleases you. Do what you will. Generous. Keep your neck dirty. Wash everything else. His words hang in the air between us like a haze. Despite the numerous opportunities he's had to hurt me, he hasn't laid a hand on me all night. If my safety really is guaranteed, it's a tempting deal to take. Hey yo, thank you. It very much so is. Besides, it's not like I have many other options. Just some songs, and you'll let me go. You won't try to steal my loot while I sleep. You take me for a common thief? How dare you? Such an appalling accusation when you can clearly see I still have all my fingers. The vampire raises his hands for me to see. The familiarity of the gesture is uncanny. February? I feel left out, but teaser. We love you. Angie gave you a hug, not Nightbot. You're always there for me. seemed to me that a powerful vampire like you can recover from serious wounds in an instant. You could once have been amputated at the elbow for all we know. Fair enough, AI is taking over even the hugs. Oh god. Gotta stop the AIs. Which means you can't leave the state either, can you? I'm curious to know what crime you committed to be sent here. Yes. Will that forever be a mystery? Enough. I await your song tomorrow. He stands to leave. Good night, sweet friends. Don't let the bedbugs bite. I hope you see me in your nightmares. Guys, which one? I want to do the nightmare. See, the vampire doesn't want to talk about his crimes. Nightmares, yay. The second one, okay, we're done. I hope you see me in your nightmares. Who says oh my, I'm not going to sleep. Besides, I just no longer wish to be in your company. Ouch. He strides to the nearest window. Ouch, right? Like before, he erupts into mess and takes off into the night in the shape of a bat. But this time, he's left me with a half finished plate of unsauced fish. Okay. Enemies to lovers? Yes, it is. Harmonic conversations. Okay. Do what you will, the vampire said. Okay. It is. I was reluctant to believe it when he gave me free roam of the state, but he's since made no move to impede me. I was allowed to wander wherever I pleased. I discovered little of note, just more books and the continued absence of dust, nothing more suspicious than the errant scrap of paper from my first night. Despite my best efforts to distrust him, the vampire only appears to feed me some disgusting fish and claim his song. She's still eating that coffee fish. He stays long enough to make very commentary sometimes, and small talk other times, but in physical proximity he's given me a wide berth. Okay. Song poof, song poof. Ugh, hot and cold. If a man cooks you a coffee fish, put a ring. No, so he did not kidnap her. Apparently she did something to be sent away as a punishment. Uh, the punishment was supposed to be that the vampire will eat her and tear her apart and all of that. So she was sent to a remote island with an abandoned castle where this guy resides. But yeah, this is the shenanigan happening. He was banished from the village for being a blind. Hope's lying. He totally could. Okay, I'm lying. He's polite enough. Oops, I've missed it. He's polite enough, I suppose, and utterly uninterested in causing me harm. That was enough to move me from a cobblestone bed to a cushioned one. The days soon blend together like the colors of a sunset. Other than my fading bruises and brief performances, there is little to mark the passage of time. Can I ask what's your accent? I I actually don't know my accent. Some people say it's American, some say it's British. I believe it's fleeting, but I'm from Asia. This sounds like my kind of story. Oh, oh. the Monotony of a routine sways my feelings of weariness into restless puzzling. Oops. Questions form my mind like, what is that? And my aimless wandering doesn't yield enough fruit to feed them. Okay. I'd like to sate my burning curiosity by interviewing my vampire. My vampire? But I'm not sure how to approach him when he vanishes after my song's final notes. Have you seen Twilight? Besides, I still have every reason to sleep with the fire iron wedged under the door handle. Every so often, I'm startled awake by blood curdling screams. What? I've ventured out from my room more than once, fire iron in one hand and my dagger in the other. I tracked the noise up the many flights of stairs, worried I would stumble upon the vampire feasting on an unlucky traveler who washed up the river. Then I would stand at the foot of his coffin for a time, oh, waiting to hear signs of a struggle, waiting to see pools of blood oozing across the floor. But I was always met with an eerie, unmoving silence. Interesting. So there's ghosts in this castle? So I went back to sleep with my bed pushed against the door each time, determined to keep out whoever or whatever was making these horrible sounds. Do you read Dark Angel? Although I'm sure I would have run into them by now if anyone else is living in the state, or one can never be too careful. I read a lot. Have you perhaps read Haunting Adeline? That is very much so enemies to lover, but it is very triggering too. Still, as harrowing as those noises have been, sleeping in an actual bed is incredible. Me, a guest? Oh, it changed from prisoner to guest. Yes, yeah. Okay, that's about all I will say. I love that book, yeah. Sleeping in an actual bed is incredible. I'm starting to feel pampered. Aw, the food still leaves much to be desired. Okay. That's a great book. I know, right? So great. Never leaves my brain. But I have pillows, blankets, and the softest felt carpet on my floor. A creepy state is indubitably better than camping with stinky, sorely guardsmen and sleeping on the ground. Yep, fake me a fake. Oh yeah, that should be the title. Yep. The second one was tough to read, but so well written. Yes. The second one does something to me, like gets me in my feels. It's a hassle. What do you think about Rio though? There's a lot of debate on him, and he's also getting a book, I heard. It's a hassle to shove my bed to and from the door, but I think it's a small price to pay. Brisk, invigorating air fills my lungs as I step into the country yard. A shiver scuttles across my spine as I settle into dewy grass. I position my songwriting journal in my lap, having recently freed it from my clothes with some careful incisions. I feel bad for him. I know, me too. It was a sad story. But hey, his sister is saved and he is free now? carefully. I always get lost in thought when I turn its pages. The act of deciding on a song makes my heart swell with calm contentment. After choosing one of my older pieces, a spirited melody I wrote when I was younger, I wrap my lute over my shoulder and begin to practice. Yes, if I remember correctly, it's been a while. But yes, I think he is getting a. Oh, that is so cool. My performances occurred in crowded areas before I came here. I had to complete the clamor of moving people from passerby to raucous drums. You might have also read Twisted series then, I am assuming. Here in the grass, I find myself not needing to fight for coin or attention. I can focus on my music, and nature itself is my ensemble. I sing softly, timing my rhythm with the shifting trees and the gurgles of the moat. Sibi is also getting a book, I heard, which is interesting. Wonder if her henchmen are really real. I like to imagine my notes, quite though they are, carrying far into the forest, reverberating down mountains. Sibi already has one? Wow. Do you by any chance know the name? Performing without an audience? Her arms gotta be tired for holding that from. Yeah, definitely. What happened to the voice? Come on. My pulse quickens, startled by the sudden voice. My fingers slip. The next strum is discordantly off key. Isn't Satan's? Oh, Satan's Affair. I haven't read that one. I gotta read that then. I squint skywards, trying to make out shapes in the darkness. We climbed across a brick parapet overhead. The vampire stares down at me with his usual flat expression. I slam my journal shut and hide it behind my back. You, did you mean to sneak up on me? You'll have to try harder than that if you want to catch me off guard. I missed their voiceover. What happened? She's also playing a single note over and over again. She doesn't move her fingers. Good observation. In an easy, soundless motion, the vampire drops to the ground. To the ground? Like a falling feather, he saunters toward me, eyes glimmering like diamonds in the dark. I can agree with that. Not like, will I can assure you that if I were to try harder at such a thing, you would not wish to be the I don't know how to pronounce that, of my attention. And I'll have you know that I was here first. Oh? Ah, then I suppose I have disturbed you. I didn't mind. His reply was faster and more decisive than I anticipated. My heart hammers harder against my ribs. What is this? Fear? Am I really afraid of a speedy retort? Ridiculous. In a vain attempt to hide weakness, I hover my hand over my chest. Oh, romance begins. No, I suppose you wouldn't mind a free ballad. Shouldn't you be hibernating in the rafters this time of night? I don't normally perform for another hour or two. Not tonight. He gestures to the night sky. Full moon. The moon above us looks swollen, rounder and larger than I remember ever seeing it. Even so, is a mere full moon really so impressive? I part my lips to express my thoughts when a warm shadow inches across the moon's surface, spreading from its left side like a cocoon around a caterpillar. Have you read the Made Men series? No, I just kind of started with my dark romance journey with Haunting Adeline. I haven't read much. I mean, that and Twisted is the only one, which Twisted isn't really dark in my opinion, but yeah. Soon the moon is as red as a sunset, a glowing rosy marble anchored in the night sky. A blood moon? A total lunar eclipse is the technical term, though you may call it what you like. What did I start with? I didn't start with anything. I don't know what you're talking about, TJ. It only occurs 3 times a year. The people of Alluvia insist that a blood moon is a bad omen, and seeing one during my travels was a foreboding, foreboding sight. Yet the vampire watches the moon with such earnest intensity, I fear his admiration for it is contagious. Oh, no, it's not haunting. Oh, is it? Well, I want to read The Sinner. I've seen that a lot coming up on my feed. You know anything about Sinner? Is it worth it? It's beautiful. What does it mean for you? Are you more powerful while it lasts? Sinner's good. Okay. On to my to be read. The vampire barks out a small surprised laugh, and his eyes cut away from stargazing to glance at me. No, not at all. I simply. He folds his arms behind his back. I enjoy the view. The parapet is the best spot to observe the heavenly bodies in the sky. Ooh. The ground is a close second. The vampire tilts his head, watching me with an expression I've never seen him wear before. Confused guilt. Guilt. What is it? My hand twitches, ready to seize the dagger at my belt. Oh, I don't think he's gonna. Is he? Also, if you want a shorter book, The Dare, I would like a shorter book. I get kind of impatient with the long books, but I stuck through with Haunting Adeline somehow. TJ, I said nothing. Vampire is hiding something. Yes, a secret. My hand twitches. Okay, we're done. I have been referring to you as a bard and mortal all this time. I don't believe I ever asked for your name. Oh, the mystery of the name is gonna not be a mystery? I said nothing, I swear. I rest my hand over my leg, relaxing somewhat. Yes, I get that, which is why I recommend this. It's about 100, so it should be good. 30 days after he asks her about her name. I know, right? 100 is nice. I can do that. I will buy it as soon as I'm done streaming. You're right. We yelled at each other in the hall and never even introduced ourselves. You can call me. Oh, Abigail? Okay. Do we name her Abigail or something else? Guys, 30 days. A true gentleman. Surely name her Hope? Oh god. That's interesting. Adeline? Caesar? Oh, it's kidding. No, never mind. But I will go with fawning. Press enter. Okay, I did. Excuse me. The enter isn't working. Hello? Hope? Yeah, but the enter isn't working. Oh my god, it's such a shame. Wait, can I at least save it? How do I save the game? No. Yes. I want to call it Hope, but what's wrong? Why can I not? So if something I know. At one point in the game, the vampire will say, oh my god. The game is like, this username is taken, please. Oh, I hope it's not bugged. Did we jinx it? Oh, I don't think we jinxed it. Wait, let me. It wasn't working with that, so. Should I restart? Kinda wanted to finish that chapter. I'll try restarting. Neither enter is working. No. Teaser being curious is not nice. I enter both of them. Well, let's see if it works. I hope it works. Rainbow Mangus is so cute. Thank you. Oh, I'm lagging. I think I broke. It's the curse of the blood. You have a point there. You do have a point. Into the vampire spawn. Absolutely, I agree. I think the game is crashing. The vampire said enough for today, I guess. What a timing. Yeah, the game's done. The game's done with me. It said, nope, not today. Well, we ain't done with the game. No singing game crash. What a day. We ain't done with the. I can't make the game, can I? Sad. Another record. Oops. Wow, you scared me. Okay, it might work now. It might, I don't know. And thus ends the tale of the handsome vamp. No, it will continue. It will continue. Was that the sad song from this? I. Yes, I think. Um. It's lagging. Dr. Acuma. I'm trying to fix it. It's not happening. With the mysterious crime record, yes. Both of them are mystery. Nope, it's stuck. It's not working. Ancient Hope. Wrong chat. It's not working, so I'm gonna have to end it now. I'm hoping it will be just fine next Sunday. But that's about it for today. Thank you so much for the raid, Evie, if you're still here. Thank you so much for following. Dark Angel, you guys are amazing. Um, and yeah, fun day again. Start from the beginning. No, I saved it. I saved it. So I won't have to start from the beginning, but if I have to, I will. I am interested in the game. It was fun. I'm glad you enjoyed. It was awesome. Have an eventful February mystery. I will, NG. Thank you, thank you. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the game. See you next time. Oh, have a good one. Shush you.